By the time they get to that country, they'll be asking, where is the job? Where is the hotel job? Where is the cleaning job? Where is this job you told me? They will say there's no job. They seize all their documentations, their passport, and whatever they have on them, including mobile phones, so that they cannot communicate to anybody. And they confiscate them in a building and then force them into sex labor. When you say no, they threaten you, they treat you like an animal. Some of them, according to one of the girls, they cut her hair, that they will take it to a fetish priest who will put place calls on her and stuff like that. So they put fear in you that you end up doing what they want you to do. So these people are destroying lives. They are destroying our youth. And most of these girls are underage, 15 years and all that. So when you look at all this, you will see what they call man inhumanity to man. People are just so desperate and wicked just to exploit the ignorance of people to be able to enrich themselves. And that's what you see going on today. When you hear someone telling you abroad is this, I'm in the diaspora, and I've been saying this all the time. There's no country you travel to and you start picking money on the floor. There's no place like that. There's no country you go to. The moment you enter, you start working. You need to get work permit, before you can start working. I don't know about how it works in the African countries, but I'm telling you, in Europe, in America, and other, developed countries, that's how it functions. You can't just start working. You have to get your resident permit or your, documentation to work before you start working. Hello, my people. Welcome to my channel. This is Andy Media TV. Well, I am here with a wonderful news that 78 Nigerian females who were trafficked to Ivory Coast have been repatriated back to the country. They were, brought back by airpeace. If you recall, I think in the month of April, when Martin Vincent Otse, popularly known as VeryDarkMan, came and made a video, showcasing Nigerian, children who were trafficked to Ivory Coast. That they were moved from Kano to Niger, and from Niger they found themselves in Ivory Coast. And they went further to say in that video that the children we are seeing, most of them below the age of 15, 12, 13, and the rest of them, that it's not just them alone. There are other Nigerians who have been stranded in the hands of traffickers. And I recall him bringing up a form, showing the form on his video. That's about 1,200 people, that he has their information here, who were trafficked and stranded in different camps, and suburbs of Ivory Coast, and they are into, forced labor and sex, slavery. So he made this video, and at some point he went further to, to the point of sending about 20 million naira to, NAPTIP through his NGO, Martin Vincent Otse Initiative, to support them to be able to get these girls, back to the country. But surprisingly, he came up to let Nigerians know that airpeace has volunteered to, come in to, bond these girls and, get them back to the country. So in virtue of that, we have been waiting, for this good news to happen. And today, it came to pass that airpeace, brought these girls back using his airline, and they was free of charge.
Airpeace has begun to repatriate Nigerian girls trafficked to Ivory Coast following the outcry raised by activist Martin Otse, popularly known as VeryDarkMan, who highlighted the plight of young Nigerian girls trafficked to the neighboring West African country. Chairman of Airpeace Airlines, Dr. Onyema, had pledged to repatriate the girls free of charge. Araz News Rufai Osani witnessed the story.
I just came on a flight to Ivory Coast today. You remember the girls trafficked to Ivory Coast from what happened as regards, that situation where I think it was a VeryDarkMan, Martin Otse, that revealed when he came to Ivory Coast, some of the girls trafficked. We're currently in the flight, in Abidjan, where airpeace in his magnanimity has said they were going to evacuate those girls and bring them back. So we are right there in the flight. Very next video you're going to be seeing here are that of the girls.
The truth is that a lot of them have been lured by hyper-pay job, and there's nothing like hyper-pay job anywhere. Even in America, Europe, nothing like hyper-pay job. People will tell you, come, you work in a restaurant, they'll pay you $5,000. It doesn't exist anywhere. So what we are telling our young girls and young boys, they should be very, very mindful of who they go with. Most of these girls were actually kidnapped.
And thanks to VDM, who just made this thing possible. Well, thank God that this happened. I thank airpeace for giving our children this opportunity to be repatriated back to Nigeria. Well, thousands of Nigerians, girls, minor, mostly as you can see, are trapped in the forest over there. So I think the federal government need to come into this picture and take their responsibility. Liaise firstly with the government of the state, the nation, and also with other agencies. Nigerian community under my watch are doing our possible best to make sure from 2021 May 29 till date we have already repatriated over 1,500 Nigerian girls back to Nigeria, and all these things are going to we write report and send to all the agencies that are supposed to take care of this, but they have not done anything until BDM came to the picture and say that Nigerians will not be sequestrated in this manner anymore.
So these are part of the works that we have seen, the VeryDarkMan, or VDM as people call him for short, that he does, trying to help to bring things to, the attention of the government and the public. And also he has even gone headlong to invest in it personally, invest his time, his resources and all that, just to say that things work. However, when I listened to, the traffic, ladies and what they said, and what the head of Nigerian in the Ivory Coast, also said, I listened to LPs, I listened to VDM as well, and they all made sense. But so many things I need to bring out on that, information I've had from all different, angle is that I've made series of videos, trying to draw the attention of the people on how these traffickers get to them and how they lure them into doing all this kind of stuff. So first, when you listen to the girls said that, I think two of them that spoke, in that, video or the interview by the press, said similar thing, in terms of these traffickers come to them, inform them that there is a job abroad. Once you travel there, you start working, you start making 200K, 500K, thousands of dollars. And by the time they, convert the dollar, to naira, it looks so much to them and they believe, oh, that's true. And secondly, when they look at the person talking to them, how he's well dressed, how the person has taken responsibility that he will process their documents and fly them to the country and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, they entrap them that they spend huge sums of money to bring them in. Like one of the guests spoke, that the lady said she spent 3 million naira to bring, her over to Ivory Coast, and that she has to pay back the money and she has to do prostitution and stuff like that. When these traffickers meet them and was interfacing with them, they will not tell them the reality of why they are traveling. They will kind of paint it with something so good and lucrative to attract them, to lure them to be able to accept the offer. All right. And in most cases, they tell them not to tell their parents, not to inform anybody, that things that concerns abroad will keep you secret until when you get there. And these girls believe them and work with them, and they find themselves abroad. By the time they get to that country, they'll be asking, where is the job? Where is the hotel job? Where is the cleaning job? Where is this job you told me? They will say there's no job. They seize all their documentations, their passport, and whatever they have on them, including mobile phones, so that they cannot communicate to anybody. And they confiscate them in a building and then force them into sex labor. When you say no, they threaten you, they treat you like an animal. Some of them, according to one of the girls, they cut her hair, that they will take it to a fetish priest who will put place calls on her and stuff like that. So they put fear in you that you end up doing what they want you to do. So these people are destroying lives. They are destroying our youth. And most of these girls are underage, 15 years and all that. So when you look at all this, you will see what they call man inhumanity to man. People are just so desperate and wicked just to exploit the ignorance of people to be able to enrich themselves. And that's what you see going on today. So when you hear someone telling you abroad is this, I'm in the diaspora, and I've been saying this all the time. There's no country you travel to and you start picking money on the floor. There's no place like that. There's no country you go to, the moment you enter, you start working, except if you came to that country with employment visa. There's a company abroad who filed for you, who paid for you, who applied for your visa, who did everything, and you are going there with employment visa. So that's when you can come in and start, because all your documentation has been done by the company. Outside that, there's no country you go to, you enter today, you start working. It's not done. You need to get work permit, before you can start working. I don't know about how it works in the African countries, but I'm telling you, in Europe, in America, and other, developed countries, that's how it functions. You can't just start working. You have to get your resident permit or your, documentation to work before you start working. And for you to even start working, you have to look for the job to get it done before you start working. So people who haven't traveled abroad, people who doesn't know how to do research on Google or using the AI technology and stuff like that, they believe whatever they are told because they don't understand how things work. And that is the reason why most of us in the diaspora are doing most of these videos, trying to sensitize the people on what they need to know, the red flags they need to watch out for. When somebody is telling you, don't tell your parents that you are traveling abroad, don't tell your siblings and all that, it's a red flag. Traveling abroad is a good news, which you can break to your family. So they are doing all those things so that nobody will discourage you from traveling, from accepting their offer. That is why they are telling you, and they restrict you from putting out the information to anybody, even your friends and all that. And also they use some people they have already gotten to recruit more people. From them, they ask them to contact their friends and all those, and they reach out to their friends and also lure them in. So when you do that, you get them more people, they elevate your status, in the sex trafficking ring. So these are part of the things that they do. So Nigerians, I think when you look at some other information that was put out there, the president or the head of Nigerians in Ivory Coast said a lot of things. How these our children are trafficked and then they end up in the forest. They are using them as forced labor, to mine their gold and other natural resources in the forest. So they are trapped there, and some of them are killed. When you say you can't do what they ask you to do, or you can't, do the amount of job they want you to do, they feel that you are not useful to them. They can waste you, and nobody knows where you are. Nobody knows what happened to you, and that's the end of it. So, and people that does all these illegal minings, they are very dangerous people. They have weapons. They have all kinds of, guys, bodyguards, security guy that is, monitoring all the employees that are doing all this stuff for them. So it's a very dangerous venture. So again, I've condemned those who travel out of the country using the desert, traveling for weeks, trekking in the desert, and most of them died on the way and stuff like that. You don't travel abroad like that. You want to go to abroad, you go through the normal process. That is when you can function when you travel abroad. What is the normal process? You apply for visa to the country where you want to go, and they invite you for an interview. Submit all the required documentation, go to interview. If you convince them in the interview that you are going there for something meaningful, or you are going there to stay for a purpose, and when they find your information justifiable, they give you visa. And when they give you visa, go to that country, stay there based on the days or months or years of the visa you receive. If your visa is expiring, you leave before it expires, or you renew the visa, whichever way works for you. So don't just jump into any offer that you are traveling abroad. Abroad is not easy. It is very difficult abroad. That is the honest truth. One thing you need to know is abroad is not like Nigeria, where if anything happens to you, you call your uncle, you go to your mother's place or father's place or uncles or brothers or friends. Abroad, you have nobody. You are just there on your own. There's no father, there's no mother, there's no siblings, there's nobody. And the laws there are quite different from the laws in your home country where you are coming from. Things you can do in your country and go free, you can't do it abroad and go free. So there are a lot of challenges. That is the reason why before you talk about traveling abroad, you need to sit down and understand the implications and understand what venture you are trying to go into. So don't just follow anybody because it's your friend. It tells you abroad there's a ticket abroad, you just jump in. No. Or uncles or aunties or, please be very careful, because when you go out there, it's very dangerous. You are in the midst of wars and you can be eaten up at any second. So that's what it is. Again, from the interviews I've had them, say, VeryDarkMan was making a valid point, in terms of the porousness of our border, how the border is porous. And I agree with him. I've seen, smuggling going across the border. When I went through Castina, I saw them moving bags of rice. That was during Buhari's administration, when he banned the importation of rice and closed the border. I saw them moving bags of rice with bikes, different motorbikes. They are driving out from the forest, and I was shocked, until they told me there's a border up there, and I even cited the one small border post. There's nobody there. So the Nigerian state has a lot of unmanned borders. That is the problem, and that's why you are seeing high level of insecurity when these herdsmen travel from Chad, from Niger, from all parts of Africa, and then they walk into Nigeria. There's no border. There's nobody at the border post to stop them, to question them, to interrogate them. There's nobody like that. So these are the reasons we're having high level of insecurity. And that's what you see in the United States. The president is trying to close down the border, to minimize risk and, possible, high level of insecurity in the country. So any country that needs to function must have a secured border. And that is the point. And with that, you can now focus on internal security. So Nigerians, the president need to look into these borders. So Nigerian government need to do more to put, the border posts in those, unmanned borders, so that they deploy immigration police and the rest of them to take care of these borders. Because bringing them back is not just the solution. It is making them not to travel. That is the solution. And again, government need to create an enabling environment that people can be able to do things on their own and survive. Because why should somebody take this kind of risk to travel abroad if Nigeria is working, if things are working, if the environment is conducive, that someone go to university? Most of them that spoke, they are not speaking badly. At least they have some level of education from what they said, from the voices I was hearing in that video. So somebody that got to university for spend years in the university and come out, there's no job. There's no hope of getting any. Even for them to do personal business, I know some of them are doing makeup business, selling hairs, doing, even content creation and things like that. Most of them, there's no light. For you to even mount your camera and do content to post, no light. You need to buy fuel, which is very costly. And so you see that the environment is not conducive. When you come to abroad, there's 247 light. So you don't need to buy fuel or gas for your gen or something. Nobody owns gen, except when there is maybe emergency. You have a storm, that pull down power and things like that. So nobody uses gen. I've been here for years. I don't know what is generator. So you see, so these are the part of the things government need to do. Make the environment conducive so that your citizens can be able to prosper. Nigerians are very industrious. Nigerians are very hardworking. They can be very creative to, create things for themselves and run it. But the problem is that there are a lot of bottlenecks. Anything you want to do, you have a lot of hiccups on your way to get there. And that's why you see many people, they have tried so many things, it is not working. Then they decided that anywhere I see to go abroad, I will go abroad. As if abroad is easy. It's not easy, but at least life abroad is still better. That's the honest truth, because things work. All the facility you need are available. Just think, use your potential, and you can excel. So there's a lot of opportunities abroad, but you have to work for them. You don't have Abraham as a father. You don't have Godfather. And here, Godfatherism doesn't work. You have to earn it. You have to work for it. So that's the way it is. So, but if government do the needful, do what they are supposed to do, create an enabling environment, citizens can prosper without the help of government in any other form. And that's what Nigerians are asking. Create those infrastructure. Let there be power. Let there be good roads. Let there be hospital. Let there be internet service, strong internet service. I've been watching a lot of stuff on YouTube. Once it's Nigeria and they are hosting live program or something like that. So at some point it will freeze. The person abroad is there waiting. Network problem. So when you look at all these things, you will see that we still have a long way to go. Again, I have there's a video I was working on now, in terms of scrapping this NYSC, stuff they are doing. Move that money to skill acquisition program. Use that NYSC, orientation camps that is across the 36 states and FCT, right? There is the National Directorate of Employment, NDE, across the whole country. So what do? Move that NYSC funds, use it to beef up those camps as a training center for ICT, people that want to learn tech, people that want to learn handwork like tailoring, soap making, makeup, barbing, dry cleaning, car wash. You train them there. 6 months program, not more than 6 months, depending on which program you are doing. Some maybe 2 months, 3 months program, depending. Train them there. Equip them with the necessary facility they need. You create a venture capital, or create a pool of grant or loan or whichever way you want to do it, and then support these people. By the time they finish this training, it's not a mandatory program. Who want to attend will register and attend in a state. You don't need to travel from Cross River to Sokoto to go and know, just like they do in NYSC. It's unnecessary. So when they do this, they build group of people with different skills. You will see Nigeria selling in ICT because they will learn coding, they will learn cyber security, they will learn, all kinds of ICT packages are there. By the time they come out, you will create ICT hub in different states. ICT hub, just like they have GSM village. You create that hub, where people can stay there and function. And this will curtail all these Yahoo things that they are doing. It will stop it because people will not have handwork. People do Yahoo because there's no job. There's no source of income. That's why they move, doing Yahoo to survive. So this will help curtail all these girls traveling out of the country in the name of working in a hotel or in a restaurant and things like that. So Nigeria need to start thinking. Our leaders, they are just focused on, doing photo ops. You build government house, you cut tape. President will come to commission government house. I've never seen it happen abroad that maybe New Jersey or New York built government house. President will come from Washington to come and commission government house. I don't really understand what is going on in Africa. Or you build a hospital. President will come to commission hospital or road. They do road here every day. Every day they do roads. They resurface roads daily in abroad. They do. The moment there is winter and the winter ends, road resurfacing will start all through till the next winter. Nobody cares. Everybody is going their way. You can't even know that governor passed. So what are we even doing in Africa? President will send entourage from Abuja to travel to one state to go and commission one hospital and 2 roads or flyover. What is going on in Africa? So these are part of the problem that we are seeing that is leading to all these things. Then the NOAA, National Orientation Agency, Ministry of Information, is at the federal and at the state level. They need to do more sensitization, connect with the community leaders, connect with the traditional leaders, and let them begin to sensitize the people from the rural communities, because most of these people are picked from rural communities because they don't know what is going on. They don't even have internet in those areas. So they cannot even browse. They don't know how to even browse internet. All they know is to answer phone. Most of their phones are not even internet enabled. So they need to start creating awareness in their local dialects so that they can understand. It's not just putting one ad on NTA or AIT and they will say you are sensitizing the people. No, you need to do in Hausa, they go deliver it in Hausa area, in Igala, in Igbo, in Yoruba, in different languages, in TIV languages and things like that, so that people will know the dangers of anybody approaching them to take them abroad, because there are jobs abroad. Come to abroad, there are many jobless people abroad, many unemployed people abroad. So which jobs that is in the abroad that they are bringing them to come and do? There are many unemployed people abroad, yes, but I know some maybe have crime records, so they can't work because their record will show. So there are many reasons some of them are not working, not because there are no jobs. There are different levels of jobs. So if you know where you fit in, you go there. All right. So that's what it is. So government have a lot of things to do, a lot of work to do. If you check the cost, I had a piece talking about 400 million lost because when they went there, they stayed more than they're supposed to stay. They thought they just fly in, pick them, and they come back. But a lot of diplomatic issues, so they have to wait almost the whole day. So the plane was trapped there. So the plane couldn't come back and continue their duty. So all these things are sacrifices APs has been known for doing. They did it in South Africa when people are stranded doing xenophobia. They have done it several places, in several countries, and they did it free of charge. So, and also other things I will also want to chip in is apart from the things I've already mentioned, I think Nigerian embassies also need to play a critical role here, because if you listen to the man who is their president in Ivory Coast, Nigerian president in Ivory Coast, that's Nigeria living in Ivory Coast, their president, he said they have made this thing known to government severally, but nothing was done until VeryDarkMan came into the picture, and that was when something began to happen. So now you can see it takes an individual to ignite this fire. And these are the same person that the same government agency is attacking and kidnapping and abducting, for doing what is good for the country. So people no more call police. If they have issue, people now call VeryDarkMan. So you can imagine how things have been. And I said it in one of my videos before that Nigeria doesn't have police. There's no internal security in Nigeria. That is the honest truth. Because something was happening in Kwara. I think there's one insurgent group that surfaced in Kwara State. What I saw was deployment of army. And I was like, what? It doesn't happen. In other crimes, once there's internal security issue, you deploy the police and the tactical team. It is when it has gone to a level that is beyond them, then you can bring in the army. But army is now the first line of defense, which is very crazy for me. It's showing a bad sign that Nigerian police is almost eroded. So where are they? Most of them are doing security for VIPs. Then some of them are there chasing people. Once you carry braided hair, they pick you up. Once you are driving Mercedes, they pick. That's what they do. So there's nothing else. So how many police do we have? Less than 400,000 to police over 200 million people. So if you check Nigerian police, ratio of police to the citizen, it may be one police to 600 or 1,000 persons. That's what it may be. If you remove the group that's taking care of the VIPs, how many is remaining to police the other population? So it's a problem that Nigerian government need to look into to strengthen Nigerian police, do recruitment program, improve their welfare. Their welfare is key. You see, nobody will go to police and die for nothing. When there is attractive welfare, just like it is abroad, it incentivizes people to come in. The other time, Army was doing recruitment, and they are complaining that Southeast are not doing, because they can't see any incentive that is drawing them to the place. They are seeing people who are already there. What is their fate? Some of them got shot in a battlefield. They are treating themselves by themselves. They are languishing in the hospital. Some of them died. Their families cannot access their, pension and payout, for, dying as a hero in the battle. Some group of top officers will corner the money. And so these are the problems. So when you fix all these things and somebody is seeing that there is honor, even if I die working for this country, there is honor for me and my family I'm leaving behind are secured and they will have a better life. That's what it is abroad. But back home, it's not. So you need to attract people. That is what it is. So government need to do more. Beef up the security system, internal security first. Nigerian army is already overstretched. There's nowhere they are not. They are everywhere in the country. So what is the problem? What is the government doing? So because we need to locate these challenges from the root and begin to deal with them. So sensitization is key. Taking care of our porous borders is key. Improving internal security by strengthening the police, equipment-wise, recruitment-wise, their welfare-wise, and other packages that is attached to them, and ensure that it is done. Proper funding for the internal security system. And then take army off. Let them be the last line of defense. But now army is now the first line of defense because there's no more police. Just like we have in the health sector. The primary healthcare centers are supposed to be the first line of defense for health. Before you now talk about moving to the second level where you have the the university teaching hospitals and all those specialist hospitals and general hospitals. But today, even anybody that have headache goes to specialist hospital. No, they are meant to treat special cases. So it's supposed to be from primary healthcare center, they make you referral to general hospital. From general hospital, you now have a peculiar case, they now refer you to specialist hospital. The teaching hospital is supposed to be specifically for those in the university, basically. But in some cases, they can intervene in taking care of people. But today, those systems has eroded. There's no PHC system that is functional or working as it's supposed to. And that's why everybody goes to specialist hospital or go to general hospital or teaching hospital, as the case may be. So a lot of problems are there that government need to look into and begin to fix. So when all these things are done, there will be changes. So why do people travel? And don't forget, when people are traveling, there is brain drain, right? So most of us who are in the diaspora, all the knowledge we have, the skill we have, the capacity we have, we are using it to build another country. And our country is suffering. And it's because our country didn't create the enabling environment. That's why our medical doctors, our nurses are leaving the shores of our land. Why? They are poorly paid. There is no equipment or facility for them to do their job. There is no power. The other time I had, I think UCH, University College Hospital in Ibadan, they don't have light. Is it for 1 month or 2 months? So you can imagine that. So that's why most of them leave. They travel to countries where they are well paid, where they have the equipment and facilities to do their job and enjoy their job. All right? And where they are respected. So every day is strike. So these are the things we need to fix. We are not taking our scale, exporting them to other countries. Yes, government is getting revenue from them because most of the money they are making abroad, they see sent back home to their families and is shoring up the the foreign reserve, as the case may be, and they also stimulating the economy back home. But it's a win-win. But however, it would have been more pretty good if things are working back home and these guys they are there. You go abroad, many people want to travel back home, but they are afraid because of high level of insecurity. How people are kidnapped and ransom 200 million, 500 million, 100 million. Where would they get the money from? So people are scared to go home, and that's why they remain abroad and then building other countries. So these are the issues that government need to look into. And you can't ask people not to japa. Anybody who wants to japa will japa because there's a reason for the person to leave, and that's the truth. So a lot need to be done. All right. So I want to also use this opportunity to say thank you to the VeryDarkMan, who has done so much well here, blowing the whistle, even investing in it financially, about 20 million. And thank you to NAPTIP, for taking the charge and ensuring that this came to pass. And to APs, I say kudos to you. You have always been there for Nigerians at all times. The moment there's anyone stranded, you always hop in. Kudos to you. Thank you for doing that good deed that is you are known for, And the Nigerians in Ivory Coast, particularly their president, who has been there working with VDM and APs and the federal government to see that this thing come to pass. And I hope that the remaining portion of the 150, I think 78 just came back, the remaining balance, I do hope that the remaining balance also have flown back home. And while we continue to work to get others who are still trapped there in the forest, like the president of Nigerians in Ivory Coast has said. So government should care for their people. They should care for their people, just like America do. One American was kidnapped in Nigeria, and they have to send 6 teams to rescue one person, and they got the person rescued. America doesn't leave their people behind. No matter what it is, they'll go all out to rescue their people. So Nigerians should emulate that and learn to value the life of their citizens and then care for them and then be able to protect them at all costs. That is what government is meant to do, to protect lives and property and the welfare of the citizens. Is government really doing these two things? That is the point. Any government that is not doing these two things has failed woefully. That's what it is. So government should assess themselves by these two things. The level of insecurity in Nigeria, what is happening? The welfare of Nigerians, who care about them? Nobody. What policies are they implementing that shows they care about the people. So these are the issues. So people don't just take this risk of traveling out of the country and they are trafficked. They don't just take it. They see that, what am I still doing here? My life here is nothing. At least let me go. If I succeed, fine. If I don't succeed, fine. After all, what is my life for? And that's why you see people hop into this kind of crazy opportunities, and then they got stopped, So yes, we can blame the people, but there are a lot of factors that led to that. So that's what it is. And I think it's a good day for Nigeria, and we do hope that they, take care of these girls. EPIS has already, pledged that he's taking care of their medical treatments and checkups and all that. That's cool. More kudos to him. And then when they are out, I expect the government, like the NAPTIP, Ajia has said that they will, to take them through skill acquisition and all that, and integrate them. Some of them, I think two of them that spoke, they already learned handwork. They just need mobilization. One is a teller. All she needs is the equipment to start. So, and she's pregnant. So she can start doing her tailoring work by government supporting her with equipment, the sewing machine and whatever other things she needs. And that's how to pull people out of poverty. And that's what Nigeria needs today. Because according to World Bank report, Nigeria is contributing 15% to world poverty and 19% to sub-Saharan, African poverty. So pull people out of poverty, create proper programs. I've given you guys an idea on how to convert NYSC to skill acquisition, program, and it will cost government lesser, as the case may be. Yes, it will cost government less of what they spend in running the 3 streams or 4 streams of the NYSC every year. Government will spend not even up to 1/4 of that to get this thing done. You already have the centers, put in the equipment, recruit those who will train these people, and then pay them stipend for the period they're going to learn. No program will be more than 6 months. And you fix the number of people you train annually. Before you know it, you will have army of SMEs who are stimulating Nigeria economy, and GDP will become something else. Instead of people wasting their lives doing sex slave as of the country in Africa, we are not talking of those who are even trafficked in Nigeria as well, from one state to another state, and they are there in forced labor. So these are the issues. So I do hope that government will look at all these things and then be able to fix them, nip them in the bud, because the cost of processing them, bringing them back, and the risk, we lose these people all the time. Some of them dies. Some of them don't make it. Some of them contract sickness and disease that we just destroy them finally. So government, thank you through NAPTIP for at least making effort, but we need to do more. That is the point I'm trying to make here. So guys, I don't know what your own views are, but my comment section is open. Kindly, drop your view at the comment section. And then if you are new to my channel, please kindly like and share this video so that people will know and the same government will see part of the root causes of what is going on. Share this video relentlessly and then subscribe to my channel to support my channel to grow, and also click on your notification bell so that when my next video drops, you will be among those to be notified, so that you will get my videos as it is hot. My videos, they make sense. They share ideas. They talk on topical issues, and that's what it is. So guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. I appreciate you all. See ya. I'm signing out.